This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, this is Greg from AC Pacific Singapore, and today I'll be going through another SketchUp tips and tricks video on how to use the Entity Info panel. So let's head on directly into our SketchUp space. Okay, so now in our user interface of SketchUp here, first thing is the Entity Info panel can be found on your default tray on the right hand side of your interface. So this is the Entity Info panel that we'll be focusing on, and I'll show you what things or what you can extract or what kind of information you can get directly from this panel here. Zooming into our first exercise, you can see here that we have drawn a single line, which is 1 meter in dimensions. So let's say you kind of draw lines and surfaces and so on. If you need to change those dimensions, you can change it directly into your Entity Info panel. From here, you can see now I have set it at 1 meter. But if I need to make changes after I have done my design, you can always change to 4 meters or your desired design intent. Okay, so moving back to 1 meter. So that is for drawing your lines. For the next one here, you can see it's under my surface. So you can, the first click here, you can see that I'm able to extract my area from the surface itself. But do note, you only have to select, or you only need to select the surface itself, not the surface and the bounding edges. If you do this selection here, you will not be able to find the surface area. So make sure that you're always selecting the right entity in order to extract the area or the information that you want. You can also select the lines on the edges of the rectangle. So by selecting these lines, you see that there is a length attached to it, but in this case, it is grayed out, and you're not able to change this length because it is connected to other entities. The next one here is we have a 3D model of a rectangle or a box. If you select each specific surface, you can see that you are able to extract the area information here in your Entity Info panel. Again, if you select the bounding edges, you won't be able to get that area. So all these edges can be selected, but very similarly, you're not able to change the length because this is fixed to other parts of the geometry. If you want to find the volume, some people might say, okay, you can triple click the item. You can triple click the item, but again, this will not be able to extract your volume. If you want to extract the volume of a 3D object, you have to make it a group or a component. So by making it a group or a component, let's try to make it a group here, similar as this one, you're able to extract the volume information itself. So always make sure before you finish your model, make it a group or make it a component as you see the need for it in your model. So for curves, for circles, for polygons, for example here are a couple of examples I'd like to show you. The first one is if you select the edges of the circle, you can see that it's kind of a little bit jagged. So this is the way SketchUp works. It creates a circle based on the number of segments. Okay, so if I click the edges of this circle here, you can see that it's segmented into 24 different segments. So this is the default choice, 24 segments. And the segmentation here is important because this will determine how fine your model is or how smooth your model is when you extrude it into a 3D. If you create less segmentation, it can be good because it will not use so much computational resource as you continue increasing your design or your complexity of your design. So it's always good practice to make sure that your segmentations are kept to a lower level, but still meeting the intent of your design. So in this case, personally, I always keep it at around 16, and it is still able to show relatively quite a smooth circle. Okay, so let me go back to 24 again, and I'll show you. You can change the segmentations after you have completed your model from this Entity Info panel, as well as change your radius. So all this can be done directly from here. If you select your surface, you're able to extract the surface area of this circle. Very similarly for polygons, this is a 6-sided polygon that you have here. You can also change the polygons and the amount of segments. So if you want it to be an octagon, you can just click it and it will change it for you. As well as the radius, you're allowed to change it even after you have completed drawing your polygon. It works the same for if you're drawing curved lines like arcs like that. It works the same. So for an arc, the default section will be 12. Of course, again, you can change this as well as change your radius. So what I mentioned here is you can easily change your segments in all these 2D drawings here, but take note for a 3D space like we have here, this 3D model of a cylinder, if you select the edges, you can see now my segments are grayed out. You're unable to change this because you have already created your 3D model. You have already used your push-pull tool to create the 3D model here itself. So from here, you're not able to change your segments, but you're still allowed to change your radius. So let's try to change this to 4. So what happens here is the radius only of this circle is changed to 4 meters. Okay, and the bottom one is still remain the same. If you need to find the volume of the cylinder, again, the triple click will not be able to extract this data. Rather, you got to create it into a group. So once a group is created, you can directly extract your volume itself. So one more thing I would like to show you. Let's say if we were to create this into a component. When you make a component, you got to assign a name to it. So let's try cylinder. If you name your components here, it will be shown into your component panel as cylinder, right? But you can also change it directly into your entity info. So let's put a 3D model. If you change this here, your definition will be changed to 3D model. So you can also change the names of your components directly through your entity info panel. If you need to extract the volume in different units, you also can do that by looking at your window panel under model info. So under the unit section here, if you need to find the volume of the cylinder, for example, in liters, gallons, or even cubic feet, you can easily click these items here and the volume will be displayed in that respective unit. So all this can be changed directly into your model info, be it for your volume, your area, or your length. Okay, so that's all for the entity info panel today. Thank you.